Hello flight simmers, welcome back. I hope you're all doing fantastic and are excited for the next full flight video which we are doing today. And yeah, it is something new for the channel since it is the first time we are flying the Captain Sim 767. And yeah, maybe I should explain a little bit why now at this time I come up with the 767 flight, as it has been around for a couple of months now. Yeah, basically I was kind of hesitant to buy the 767 since some time ago. I did some very bad experience with the 777 from Captain Sim, which was very bad in performance, so I basically ended up never using it. So I was unsure if I should go for the 767, although I was really hoping we could fly a 767 in the sim, since yeah, it's still operated by quite a few airlines and has some pretty cool routes to fly as well. And yeah, so I talked to a couple of friends who have the 767, and they said, yeah, go for it. It's not so bad. It's actually quite decent. And so I finally decided to buy it, and I have to say I am very pleased with it so far. I mean, from the exterior it looks perfect almost. Captain Sim is very good in modeling the exterior, and also in terms of flying and all this stuff, I haven't experienced any problems up to this point. Performance is also very smooth, nothing bad about that. And yeah, I think there's only one or two minor things which I dislike at this point in time, but we might get to those later. And yeah, so for now we can enjoy some of the beautiful outside looks of the 767 here in the Icelandair colors. We are flying it with the winglets today, and we are on a cool short flight over to Boston, so Keflavik over to Boston. Flight time will be almost 5 hours. According to SimBrief, it will be 4 hours and 59 minutes, which of course is rather a short flight for the 767, but I figured it's a good flight to kick things off. And yeah, in fact, before we head into the flight deck, let's have a very quick look on the flight plan. So we're operating Icelandic 631 on the 20th of May, Keflavik to Boston, and yeah, flight time 4 hours 59 minutes. We are departing. Scheduled departure time is 17:15 local and Zulu, both the same here in Keflavik, which is early evening time. But since we are mid or end of May, I believe it will be a full daytime flight. We will get to Boston around I think 18:30 local time, so 6:30 p.m. local time, and I still believe this will be daytime as well in Boston. Yeah, so that's what we are in for. We're not too heavy today. Zero fuel weight of 115 tons, and we are carrying 143 packs and 11.3 tons of cargo. And yeah, that's basically it. Starting off at flight level 360, and yeah, so that's the basics from the flight plan. Now GSX is already done with the cargo loading. Let's quickly jump into the flight deck and get going. So here we are on the flight deck. As you can see, it looks rather nice as well, very accurately modeled, high quality textures as well. Judging from the first couple of flights I did with the 767, it's very intuitive to fly. Very, yeah, I mean it's a classic Boeing, so if you know somewhat how to fly Boeing, then it should be really straightforward. And yeah, so I in fact did not put too much effort into reading all the manuals. I just pretty much straight went for the first flight and worked out well, so I am quite confident that we can manage to do a good flight here today. So I've loaded up the aircraft already. Position is also in there, so let's go to route. And yeah, that's what I kind of expected, but flights and flight plans, maybe we can find it somewhere in here.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you? I'm doing good.
Should be this one. Yeah, that looks good. Runway 10, I'm not sure about this. I think we will take off runway 01. Maybe let's put this one in there for now, and then we will have another look when we look at the weather. So runway 01. Flight number is for Icelandair 631. Like that, activate. And this should load in the route. Yeah, first waypoint is Dallas, and there are a couple of departures leading out to Dallas, so we will have a look in the second. Performance. Let's see if we can double click stuff here. No, that doesn't really work. So I'm heading over to the loading page. Fuel and payload. So yeah, let's first of all close some doors, otherwise it will give us these sounds all the time. Cargo doors as well. And then we should be quick from now on, so let's start the APU as well. Right, so we are at 114.9. And then cruise level, as discussed, was 360 initially, cost index 25, and alternate is JFK. So reserves fuel 1.8 plus 3.4 makes 5.0, if my math is correct here. Let's leave this at ICAO for the moment. That's good. And now one of the major drawdowns here in the 767 is that we can't upload any winds. And this is really a bit annoying, to be honest. Now I'm thinking, I mean, we could start to put in the average wind component on every waypoint, which will also be a lot of work. So since average wind is only 30 knots, well, that's not even the headwind, that's a bit from the north. So wind is not too crazy today, so I'm going to go without any wind component here, and let's see what we get on the fuel estimate later on. And now it's already time to look at the weather. So that's the weather, wind 070 at 7 knots, and then we can also do some takeoff calculations. Yeah, here it is. Unfortunately, the sound stopped now in the background, but never mind. So winds 070 at 7 knots. Active sky is telling me active runway is 11, which I believe is runway 10 in here. So maybe we can go with this, enter all the data. 070 at 7, temperature is 6 degrees. And QNH 1018, it is dry. And now the takeoff weight is, let's just take the cross weight, so that's 143 tons. Flap config optimum, thrust rating, takeoff, air conditioning on, anti-ice off, first clouds 1800. Maybe let's go engine then. 1.8, no, I think we don't need it. Let's go off. Right, full length, and let's see what we get. Okay, so that's what we have. Speed V1 141, VR 145, V2 153, and engine power rating of 1.47, engine pressure rating, I think it is 1.47. Let's see if we can get this in the FMC setup. So let's go flaps 5. Center of gravity is not in here. Thrust rating 47. And center of gravity 25.3, so 25. And this will be 141, 145, and 153, like this. And now let's see. So this is giving us plus 47, 1.36. Now it's kind of hard to judge which one we should use. The other one was 147, quite a bit higher. Maybe we can adjust this in a way. $147. Now I really don't know which one to trust. Maybe we should go with this one just to be on the safe side of things. And yeah, let's just see how quick we get off the ground with this one. Alrighty, so that's set, and with that, yeah, departure, of course. Runway 10, Delhi 3 Bravo. And quickly looking at the charts, so we will climb runway heading 103 and off to the first waypoint, then basically 180-degree left-hand turn down to Dallas. Pretty straightforward. There are no constraints in here, as I can see. Initial climb clearance is given by ATC, since we're flying offline today. Makes it even easier for us. So this is going to 103. This can go all the way to cruise already, 360. And then speed should be V2 of 153. Right, so flight directors and auto throttle, LNAV, VNAV. Beautiful. Okay, and now we can go ahead and run some checklists, quickly looking if all the doors are closed. That seems to be the case. Let's disconnect the jet ray. Some 757 taxiing out. Somewhat traffic over here. Right, and yeah, let's finish the setup. All right, so hydraulic pumps are coming on. APU generator and left and right engine generators, although they will stay off for the moment. External power can now go off. Fuel pumps are coming on. We should check the fuel. Oh, we can't see it here, so we don't need the center pumps. 28.1 on board, perfect. Beacons are coming on. What else? Window heat. This is at auto. All looking good. Packs and APU bleed, engine bleeds as well. Right, okay, before start checklist, fuel. We have 28.1 tons on board. Passenger signs are... here they are. Okay, I've been looking around. There they are. Passenger signs are on. MCP is set. Takeoff thrust is done. 1.47. Takeoff speeds are done. C2 pre-flight is completed. Rudder and aileron trim is 0. Should be the 0. Looks good. And taxi and takeoff briefing completed. Flight deck door closed and locked. And beacons are on. Alrighty. So we can ask for pushback. All right, we are rolling. Maybe we should also start the block time now. Like this, okay. And yeah, we are on time. 17:11, scheduled departure time 17:15, so even 4 minutes ahead of time. Beautiful. Okay, and now let's see how to fire up this thing. I believe packs should be off, so let's try to start engine number 2. Okay, it took me a while to figure it out, but we need the center insulation valve to be open for this. So now N2 is rising and we can put in the fuel.
Unlocking gear. Tow truck disconnected. Bypass bin removed.
Okay, engine number 2 is firing up and start a cutout, so firing up number 1 now. Same procedure, waiting for around 20% N2. Around there. Fuel is coming in. Okay, in the meantime, let's maybe put in the terrain weather in here. That's on map.
Left
traffic.
is clear. Right is clear.
And route data, do we need that? It shows the altitudes. That's quite cool. So let's leave it in there. 10 nautical miles. Okay. And yeah, it's already drawing some weather back there, but that's looking pretty easy, so no worries. Okay, starter cutout, perfect. So yaw damper, and those are coming back to auto. And now the left and right acceleration valve should be off. Okay, this goes to RTO, flaps 5. And trim should be 3.13. Okay, so apparently we need to trim down quite a bit to around there. That looks right. And flight controls, full left, full right. It's interesting that there's a bit of an offset, full up, full down, neutral, and rather full left and full right, neutral. Okay, before taxi checklist, anti-ice is off, we don't need it. Left and right isolation valves are closed. Recall is checked, and auto brake is RTO, ground equipment is clear. Before taxi checklist completed. Alrighty, so let's go. Parking brake released. This goes to TA. And off we go. Taxi now is pretty straightforward. We just follow this taxiway all the way down to the runway. And we are rolling. First time in the 767. Pretty exciting. Right, and maybe we can already go ahead with the before takeoff checklist a bit. So takeoff briefing, that's basically done. Pegs are on auto and they will stay on auto. Flaps are set at position 5. Stabilizer trim is also set. Speed brakes levers are down. Flight controls are checked and cabin is, yeah, let's assume it's secure. Alright, we're rolling our base. I actually had a pretty big mistake there in the taxiing. I went straight for the maintenance apron, but I was able to recover. Now we're close to the runway. They actually parked the 757 here, which is also pretty cool. And yeah, at least on the taxiing it feels like we are pretty light, speeding up quite a bit with a bit of power. And now we are close to the runway, so let's do this turn and then do the final preparations. But I have to say, it handles really intuitive and very well on the ground. So very easy to taxi around. Okay, so that's the runway straight ahead. Let's put the traffic onto the radar. TARA, and then looks like the approach is free. Also, I can't see any aircrafts out there. So, oh, we forgot the taxi light, did we? Taxi light, maybe now. Turn off lights, landing lights, and strobes. Overhead panel is set. We've done the checklist already, so we are in a takeoff configuration. Maybe for the sake of good airmanship, we could have set these speed bugs to the right levels. So V1 is 141. Okay, final turn. Okay, then we have 145. I mean, it's not too essential, but we should do it. And then 153, which is also the orange knob. All right. I believe we are good to rock and roll. So let's see how this is going now. First departure in the 767. Speed to around 50%. Ooh, there was some aircraft taxiing down there. And thrust. And engine pressure is coming up to 1.47. Speeding up very nicely here.
V1.
Rotate.
V2.
And we are airborne. Gears coming up. Absolutely beautiful. But I was quite happy with the takeoff. Maybe we could have derated a tiny bit more, but not too much more. So all in all, I think it was quite well. Now we do have a lot of power, pitching up 17 degrees and still keeping 200 knots easily. So we have a lot of power just now. Okay, and it's getting a bit bumpy here. Ooh, flight controls are very sensitive. Flaps 1. Yeah, flight director is going a bit crazy. Also the speed scale. I'm not sure if this is totally accurate. Okay, flaps up. Right, and now we should be keeping to 250 knots for a while. I have to say I'm a bit unhappy with the flight director. I don't think we can pitch this far up. I mean, we're not speeding up and want to go to 250 knots, so that's a bit weird. But other than that, handles very well. Yeah, now in fact I just went a bit too fast. And yeah, we are climbing like crazy. Maybe having a bit too much power now. Let's go back to climb. Maybe we need to press this button a lot earlier. That might very well be. Okay, let's put in the flight, the autopilot, and see what it does. Heading out to Kilo Foxtrot 449. And speed is VNAV now speeding up. Okay, looking very well. After takeoff checklist, pegs are auto. Landing gear is up and off. Flaps are up and altimeters are set. I think transition here is 10,000, so we can already go back to standard. All right, guys, that all worked rather well in my opinion, and so we are on our way over to the United States, over to Boston, and enjoy the cruise, and I will meet you back for a hopefully beautiful landing into Boston. Enjoy! Hello folks, we are back just in time for passing 10,000 feet, so let's put these landing lights on straight away. And yeah, we are descending into Boston already. I gotta tell you, it's a super weird flight, like crossing the Atlantic and flying to Boston now, just like 4.5 hours airtime. It feels super weird. I never expected that it creates such a different feeling of flying across the Atlantic, but it actually does. So I can only highly recommend to everybody to once within the flight sim career to fly from Iceland over to the States. Pretty cool thing. And yeah, regarding the cruise, it has been very smooth. Cruising over here to the United States, and now we are descending. The aircraft is pretty much exactly doing what it's supposed to be, really. So as you can see, we are spot on the VNAV profile. We're a touch fast now. We might need to get some speed brakes out there. Yeah, maybe let's do this now, since we want to be at 240 knots. And other than that, I mean, the aircraft is behaving correctly. It is following the VNAV profile by all means, sometimes even plummeting down with like 4,000 feet per minute. But I mean, that's okay, that's only for short moments of time. And yeah, it's a pretty extensive star, as always, in the US. So we are flying the Ocean 5 arrival, started all the way up at AJ, however to call it. And yeah, let's see where we are now, heading into Bridget at 7,000 feet, and you can see we are pretty much at 7,000 feet, so we are spot on. Now we caught back up with the 240 knots, that's good. And yeah, we will be landing runway 15 right. So on the star we can see we will, after Tickman, be on vectors at 5,000 feet, speed 210. We need to make sure to get there. And yeah, then by any time we can do left-hand turn, 180-degree left-hand turn onto final 15 right. And that's rather normal ILS, with a bit of an exception. Reads on the chart has a localizer offset by 1.6 degrees, so that's something we need to keep an eye out for. And now it is in fact doing something interesting. I think it should stay at 240 knots, in my opinion. Okay, we left VNAV for whatever reason. Interesting, and can't get back into it. Okay, so yeah, apparently some minor hiccups every now and then, but all in all we are sort of, or the aircraft is doing what it's supposed to do. And now we're at the 5,000 feet, which is good. We can stay here, then soon slow down to, let's go back to 210. And yeah, maybe we can already see the airport off to the left hand side. Yeah, we can also feel it by FPS coming down a little bit now, but of course we're flying into a big city. Airport is currently loading in, that's why the FPS are temporarily a bit lower. Right, and let's see, there's a flap back, so maybe we want to be at flap 1 before we get down to 210 knots. And let's do this now. Right, and yeah, then we had to set up some stuff manually. So decision height, I've dialed it in here, that's 267 on both sides. Apparently we don't have a decision altitude, which is somewhat interesting, but maybe we can set it 267, like somewhere around here. Actually, I'm just reading on the chart, it's 250, 267 is a barrow, so decision altitude, but decision height is 250. So I'm going to correct that. Right, other than that I have set the ILS frequency down here, 110.7, final approach course 150. So we got that, and yeah, we of course need to keep an eye out for traffic. He might be getting pretty close to us if he's really climbing. Yeah, so that might become a pretty close call here. Okay. But he spanking away to the left. I think we should be fine. Okay, and then maybe if the approach is free, we can do some early turning down on the final approach. Swig, which is down here, we want to be at 4,000 feet. That's maybe a good reference for us to swing over. Right, and other than that, speed will be flap 30 landing. I think that's the standard for the 767. 132 knots, so plus 5 makes it 137. In fact, we haven't looked at the weather yet. Let's do that now. So we have winds 12 knots at 100, good visibility, clouds are high up, 14,000, temperature 18 degrees. And it's really high pressure system here, altimeter is 3048, that's really high. So pretty nice weather over here at Boston. Okay, and yeah, just checking, but it's looking really good here in my opinion. Not a lot of traffic on the arrival. So let's go down to Tickman, and then we can dial down to 4,000, swing over to Swig, and then we will be on the final approach. Okay, so I think now it's a good time, so let's descend 4,000 feet. Let's do this with vertical speed so we don't need to go down too fast, and now swing around to the left. 230 initially. And from the external model, I really like the 767. The wing flex is looking great. The aircraft itself is looking great. So yeah, it's really good plane to fly. Okay, let's arm the approach mode, and okay, that's the localizer already. Quite early, but that's fine for me, and we are easily below the glide slope. Quite perfect. And let's see, from Swig we are 15 miles out still, so now we have quite a long final approach to go here. And it seems like a busy time for the departures out of Boston. Many aircrafts climbing out. Okay, and that's the glide slope coming in. Maybe let's go flap 5. I think that's a good setting to go down on the glide slope, and then can slow it down 180 to somewhere close to the final approach fix. Alright, so we are 11 miles from the Boston VOR. That is behind the runway, so we are a bit close already. Now we can also, some big stutters here. Now we can also see the little bit of the offset, which we knew was going to happen. Okay, let's go flap 15. And now it seems like we are 7 or 8 miles out of the runway. So let's go ahead and drop the gear. Okay, maybe let's go speed 170. It's better for the final approach. And go around altitude is 3,000. And in case of a missed approach, we are just climbing on the Boston 154 radial outbound and we will hold at waypoint cells at 3000. Okay, flaps 25. And flaps 30, and landing checklist. Cabin is secure, speed brakes are armed, I think. Yeah, armed. Landing gears down, 3 green, and flaps are set. Position should be set. Why can I not set them any? Okay, no, they are fully set, but the indication is wrong. Okay, so my aircraft, let's see how this works. Yeah, always a bit different to fly every single aircraft. Let's turn off and taxi lights on. Find approach speed again, 137. Yeah, now due to the localizer offset, the flight director's showing a little bit wrong, so we shouldn't pay too much attention to those. The engines are quite powerful.
500.
Okay, 2 reds, 2 whites, looking good. Now we're again a little bit slow.
Minimums.
Continue. Now a bit fast. Yeah, it feels a bit different compared to other airplanes, but it's okay. Bit of leg spikes here. It's a bit annoying.
50, 40, 30, 20,
And flare.
10.
Keeping it descending, bit of a long landing, bit of a float, and down we are. Reverse. Okay, somehow. Okay, reverse button is not working, sorry for this. Manual braking. Okay. Interesting stuff. Sorry guys. Okay, apparently we need to disconnect the auto throttle, otherwise it's going completely insane. I think now we put a lot of load on those brakes. Right, okay, so we have made it down safely, somewhat safely. Could have been better. Okay, let's see where we are. I think we are. Is it Golf, Foxtrot? No, that's Golf to the right, and we are on Charlie. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's quite a good exit we got here. Right. Okay, let's clean up a bit. Yeah, not quite sure what happened there. Usually I have a key for the reverse thrust, but that didn't seem to work. But instead, at some point, auto throttle kicked back in. That was a bit strange. All right, landing lights, and this can stay as it is. Let's put on the APU. Which, by the way, I forgot to put to off before the takeoff. Just noticed it during the climb out of Keflavik. Right, flight time 4:52. That's 7 minutes faster than expected. And auto throttle disconnect. Yeah, that's fine. We can cancel it. Okay, I think that's all the cleanup we need to do, and now let's taxi to the gate. Not sure why the frames are so bad right now. Came down to below 20, that's super low. I usually get better frames here in Boston. And now we need to cross the runway. Left is clear, right is clear. Yeah, quite a lot of traffic here. And then we will need to taxi to the international gates, of course, the Echo gates, and let's look for Echo 10. I think that's where the real world flight parked, if that's available. Echo 9, Echo 10 is occupied, then let's go Echo 11, that's also fine. No idea, yeah, maybe JetBlue, why not? Okay, coming up to the next runway. Clear on the left and clear on the right. So we can cross it, and after that we will take a right-hand turn on Bravo. Okay, and that's Bravo off to the right now. I really don't know why the FPS are so low right now. If that's related, it might be the terrain radar. That might be a good guess. Let's switch it over in a second. Does that help? I think so. Yeah, we are back above 20. Sometimes it's really these small things in the sim. Okay, that's Zulu. If we take the next one, which will be Lima, then we are quite close to the gate. Ooh, some heavies here, some supers even. British A380, Emirates A380. Lots of traffic, and I believe we will be to the right of that Emirates. Yeah, it's towards the city. The FPS are really low, but that might also be related to the time of the day, where the shadows get a bit longer. That also takes a bit of a hit on FPS. All right, APU is running. APU bleed is on. Let's put those lights off. And there is GSX waiting for us. Cool. Okay, Echo 11, last turn of the day. And then let's see if GSX has a good sense of parking today. Feet, 10 feet, and stop right here. Looks about right. Okay, parking brake and cutting the edge engines 1 and 2, and block time 5 hours and 13. Right, APU's running. Fuel pumps are coming off. Beacons and strobes, of course, and then seatbelts and engine hydraulics, electric hydraulics, yaw dampers, and those are coming off as well. And then let's ask for a deboarding. Schedule works. Sweet. And shutdown checklist. Hydraulic panel is set. We can turn those two off as well. And fuel pumps are off, speed brake levers are down, flaps are up, parking brake is set, fuel control switches are cut off, and weather radar is off on both sides. Transponder needs to go off, of course, to stand by. Right, then let's open some doors. Forward entry, cargo forward, cargo after, and external power, which we have here. Cool. Alrighty guys, so welcome to Boston once again. Just seeing, that's 763, so we are pretty good in terms of parking here today. And yeah, welcome to Boston. Sorry about the low FPS here during the arrival. I'm not quite sure what's causing this. Usually I get quite decent FPS here in Boston. Not sure if it's related to the aircraft or not. But over at Keflavik at least it was performing very smooth. And yeah, very excited to read up on your comments on how you like the 767. I know it's a bit of a controversy among the planes out there for the flight sim. Captain Sim not being the most famous one of the developers, but I feel like the 767 is quite decent. Flies very well, only some very minor bugs like, for example, wind upload doesn't work. And yeah, flight director is a bit wild from time to time, but other than that, it really does what it's supposed to do. Pretty easy to fly, very intuitive as well, and very stunning from the outside, of course. So yeah, very excited to read up on your comments, and feel free to like and subscribe as well. And yeah, take care of yourselves and see you next time. Bye bye.